Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be looking at the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I've passed 30 days of continuous use with my primary carrier of choice, and I wanted to follow up with you guys to let you guys know how I feel about using an iPhone as a daily driver. And I'm actually using this alongside two other devices regularly, but in fact this is my primary carrier in this device at the moment. So I've been protecting my phone with the Otterbox Defender Pro. Is my latest purchase. If you haven't seen that video, check that out. I really like this case. Otterboxes have come a long way. They are very thin now because, you know, a lot of the devices are so much thinner. So this has been my favorite case of all the cases that I've tried with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I bought the silicone case recently. I bought the leather case, got rid of the leather case within a few minutes. The silicone case is nice, and I have a Pataka case, the Pro version, which is really nice. This one right here will run you about $59, and some people got them on sale for $19 during Black Friday. I got mine on sale for $29 at T-Mobile. Got a video up on it. Very solid case. I actually leave it in this case every day. I don't take it out, and I took it out for the purposes of this video. But this is the case right here itself, and I haven't been using this for 30 days. I think I've only been using this for maybe a week or so. I'm not even sure, but it is phenomenal. It has lots of grip. It doesn't make the phone any thicker, but it does make it just a hair bit wider, and so, you know, take that into consideration. But this is the Defender Pro Series Drop Plus, and I recommend this case of all the cases that I've tried so far on the channel with this purchasing. So here's the phone. The first thing I want to talk about is the battery life. Now, before I get into this video, it is being recorded with the Pixel 6 Pro. Here's my Pixel 6 right here. And so I love to use the devices for the top-down shots to kind of give you a feel of what they can actually do during a real-life situation. For me, how I'm doing the channel currently at the moment, I'm not currently using a mirrorless camera or a DSLR to do any of my top-down shots. So the first thing I want to talk about and let me know how this quality is and audio and everything like that. I'm talking at a pretty low tone though, because it's kind of late in the evening when we're recording this video, but nonetheless, battery life. That is what I want to talk about at this point in the game. The battery life on this thing has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm averaging just under 8.5 hours. Well, last week I averaged just under 8.5 hours per day, and I still end the day with about 50% in most cases. So battery life on this thing is absolutely just stupendous. It's great. I don't see why a person would not like this device for battery life. And there's really not much to say about that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the hardware. Now, even though I have been keeping it in my Otterbox Defender Pro series here, this is just some of the most beautiful hardware I've used when carrying a device just freehand like this. Now, I do have a tempered glass on the front, but I normally don't wear cases around the house when I wear my device. But again, I've really been liking the Otterbox Defender Pro. So I've been using it more, but hardware wise, I think Apple has done a phenomenal job with making sure this hardware is on point. It is the hardware we know and love, but there are some changes that I would like to see. As you guys know, I'm not a fan of the stainless steel sides. I like a frosted side, and but that's one of the things of using the Pro model. You have to have the stainless steel sides and you get the frosted back. Now, of the two, I definitely like having the frosted back better than the matte sides on there. So if Apple were to make some changes to the hardware, I would ask that they make a change with this cutout and just fill the whole screen in. And I know it's going to sound crazy, but I think it'll be nice if they added a fingerprint reader here. Now, this is going to be the 5G antenna right there, but having the fingerprint reader right here or in the power button is totally possible, because I have other phones that are thin that have clear the screen out, that have a fingerprint reader in the power button. This phone is 6 millimeters or so, and it has a fingerprint reader in the power button, and it's very nice and very fast. So if Apple were to do a fingerprint reader in the power button on the side and shrink down the camera and just keep it in the center, I'll be totally happy with that. So I think it's totally possible. It's just a matter of choice whether or not Apple would do something like that. And that's one hardware change I would like to see them. They can still do facial recognition, but doing a fingerprint reader in the power button or just on the side, I think that would be really good. Now, as far as the hardware goes, other than that, I think I like this. I'm used to this design now. The camera modules are bigger, but I'm getting better quality out of those cameras. And speaking of cameras, you're looking at some of the best cameras for video in the game. I've been using this phone and my iPad Mini 6, predominantly my iPad Mini 6, and predominantly, I think it used to be like all iPad Mini 6 when I got it because I was blown away at those cameras. But now I've been pretty much using the iPhone 13 Pro Max for a lot of footage on the top-down shot. I figured out, how to get the right lighting, and thanks to Will H Tech Reviews or Will's Gadgets and More for hooking it with the new lighting for the office. I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's beautiful to record with these. And then also I can hook up my external microphone. Now, right now I'm not using an external microphone with the Pixel 6 Pro. Just so you know, this is all the Pixel 6 Pro. But nonetheless, this is actually phenomenal. Microphones, this phone has phenomenal microphones, but depending on the setting, I want to cancel out as much noise as possible. So in here, I normally don't use a microphone with any of the devices because it's pretty quiet, but having the option to hook up an external microphone now, I really enjoy it. So cameras on here, let me zoom. These cameras are absolutely great. I have a microfiber cloth and I'm just so used to wiping off the camera lens here, even though I'm not doing any recording. These cameras are really good. So I think if you're a person who's going to do video for YouTube or video creation in general, you are looking at a fantastic set of cameras, and they are really capable. I mean, just phenomenal quality. I mean, outside you got cinematic video too. And so there's a lot to like about those cameras. Even the front camera, having cinematic video and being able to do 4K 60 on the front and rear and have unlimited recording. I could do ProRes. There's a lot that's going on with these cameras. Now, the thing about ProRes though, you have to have a memory option high enough. And so I do have a memory option that's high enough. You have to have at least 256 gigs to do ProRes. So, having those options in the camera are absolutely great, man. You got your portrait, your pano, there's your video. I like that you can change the settings up here as well. You got your cinematic video, your slow motion, and your time lapse. So having these options right here is important. Now, the cinematic video, you can actually, right on the iPhone, if you record let me show you here. So I shot this video, and this is a full cinematic video. When you go down here, you hit options first, and I can actually change it to 4K, even though it's a cinematic video. So if you're doing it on the device and you want to do a 4K cinematic video, because right now it records in 1080p, and but you can export it at anything you want. And right on the iPhone, it gives you the option to export in 4K. So that's an option for you. But cameras on here, fantastic. Software experience is going to be up to the person using it to whether they're going to decide what they think is good software. I personally, I like Apple's software. It just got 15.2 right before this video on my iPad and my iPhone. So update to 15.2 if you haven't already done so. But nonetheless, the quality of the software is stable. That's the thing. It's really stable software. And I think that's why a lot of people like it. And also other things about the software is the basically continuum. I can start on my phone and finish on my Mac or my iPad or whatever. I can take phone calls from my phone as long as you turn on the option to have your calls answer on other devices. You can answer. I take calls on my Mac sometimes when I want to keep typing. I take calls on my iPad a lot. I put in my earbuds and take a lot of calls on my iPad because I have a kickstand on there. So, I can just sit it up, and if I want to switch to a FaceTime call, I can. And it's just really simple. So having iMessenger on everything, that's what a lot of people like. They like the fact that they can jump from device to device. And also, if you're working on something, like if I'm in my browser and then it'll show on my Mac, hey, you're working on a browser, do you want to continue over here? Or my same thing with my iPad. So the software is stable, well put together, well thought out, and it's a good look. So other than battery, cameras, software, hardware, the overall experience with using the iPhone 13 Pro Max as my primary device for the last, and you're probably thinking, I thought you were using the Pixel 6 Pro. Yeah, I am. I have more than one phone number. So the Pixel 6 Pro, which I'm recording with, is actually my Google Fi line, which I've had for 6 years, I think. And then my Pixel 6, the smaller version, has my AT&T line. So I have all these different carriers. And then I have some other carriers that I use for testing and just things like that. But other than that, man, I mean, I really feel like the iPhone 13 Pro Max has been just a phenomenal experience. And I don't know that a person would have a bad experience with the 13 Pro Max, but if I'm going to recommend, I'm still going to recommend people grab the smaller variant if they can, because it's much easier on your hand and your pocket. And the Pro models cost more. So, you know, it's kind of up to you to determine whether you think something is going to be worth it or not, and whether you should fork over the extra money for the extra battery and the extra camera and the extra functions of the Pro models. Specifically the Pro Max, you're paying the most for the Pro Max, and, you know, you're getting the most out of that device. You're getting the better battery on here. You're getting a whole bunch more out of the Pro model. And so I wanted to share that with you. So this has been a little over 30 days for me with the iPhone 13 Pro Max as one of my main devices, actually the main device. And I'm excited about it. So I'm having a good experience. I really wouldn't change anything, just those few things that I pointed out for future iPhones. But other than that, I'm not having any problems with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I'm surprised that I don't hate it yet. But you know, hey, nonetheless, I'm gonna move forward and continue to use it. I'm just going to shift my coverage as I start 2022 to the Z Fold 3. I'm going to start covering the Z Fold 3. If you haven't seen that wonderful deal that I put up, you can get the unlocked Z Fold 3 for $9.99, no strings attached. So check that video out. I'll try to remember to leave those links down below and leave that video down below as well. But just search the channel. You'll see it if I forget, because I tend to forget. So the iPhone 13 Pro Max, folks, it's been a great experience. I don't have any complaints about it, like major complaints. There's no heating problems. There's no software problems. There's no, camera problems. There's no battery problems. There's nothing. The things that I want, like Type-C and picture-in-picture and all those types of things, those things will come, I guess, at some point or another, but for now, they're not here. So I don't want to waste too much time on it and complaining about it too much. But how do you feel about the iPhone 13 Pro Max? If it is your daily device, your only device, or you're planning on purchasing it, how do you feel about it? It's your man Jay. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.